I love this intro sound so much. It always gets me hyped up. So we are seeing both players draw their first hands of 5, and we are going to see who is about to start, because in this matchup, this is also really important.
Definitely is. And Joshua Ostman in his top 60 match, we saw him beginning, and I think he won the die roll again. And he starts with his Exosister Martha again. That card from Pote is really pushing the deck to a whole different dimension, and now we can give it away. He's actually on the deck that won YCS Niagara Falls, so this could be back-to-back YCS wins if we count that one in the American region as well.
So Daniel immediately grabs the card and reads it, so he might not exactly know what the cards are doing. However, everybody knows when you're playing versus Exosister, if your opponent is having Martha, it's bad news.
Definitely, because if you have no monsters on the field, you can just special summon yourself, and you can also then immediately after special summon one Exosister from the deck, being Exosister Alice, and he also has Exosister Pax right there, getting more search action going. Daniel double checking again, but yes, we are also going to do that searching right there. And you have to pay 800 life points. So this is a card you don't want to see when you get into a timeout situation, but we're far away from that. Just started this top 8 match, and it's searching for a spell card here. But there is a Droll Lockbird on the side of Daniel. He decided to main deck this card, which I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, this is such a strong card in this format, because especially also against Exosisters, most of the rank 4s, I think all of them search on summon, right?
Indeed. I think not on summon. On summon they all say,
you
can
detach.
only... Yeah, exactly. On detach they can then search. And now they cannot search anymore.
I think they search on summon. And on detach you can quick effect, banish a card or pop a card.
Alright, yeah, one or the other, but definitely the Droll Lockbird here is preventing searching in any way. And I really, really like the decision of Daniel to main deck the Droll Lockbird when there's so much Runick. And also, it's not even that bad versus Steel Elements, and that means Joshua is just passing it over. He does not even summon out an Exceed monster. He doesn't even like it, so he just gives the option back over to Daniel right there.
It wouldn't help him anyway. Droll and Blockbird really doing the job right here.
Indeed it does. And there's still the double checking. Joshua Ostman has that one Exosister Carpe Videm on field. That's a continuous spell. And honestly, I haven't seen this one that much. And it says, Nipa player can target Exosister monsters you control with effects of monsters that were special summoned from the graveyard. And that's like the permanent effect of it. But that's probably not really going to be an issue.
Special summon from the extra deck, right? Oh no, GY. Okay.
Yeah, from the graveyard. Oh, now we see that Daniel actually did not only... He couldn't decide.
Yeah.
He couldn't decide on whether to run Runick Spright or Lifetran Spright. And so he was like, let's go, we are going to do Runick, Lifetran Spright, all 3 engines together in here, and I think they're all working together great like a charm.
In the end, he made the decision, and now he's playing so many different engines as well. So him and Jack Verma both said, yeah, I don't want to limit myself to 2 different engines. Let's go for 3 or even more, and this seems to be the right choice for this tournament.
Definitely, definitely. But one thing with those Runick decks that only have a smaller Runick engine is that you usually will only see one Runick Fountain. And we've seen featured matches before where only playing Runick Fountain in one copy might really hurt you. Because if that one copy gets outed, you cannot use that super strong draw effect anymore, and you really need it. But there is Exosister Returnia on the side of Joshua. So there was no Exceed monster yet, but maybe there's one to come now.
And Returnia is also a new card from Power of the Element. Together with Martha, this deck got a lot better with a new set Pote.
Indeed, indeed. He's playing double Exosister Returnia even. And he is using... Looks like he's using the Alice. Oh no! There is... He changed the Runick Flashing Fire right there. Oh no. And Returnia has to perform an XYZ summon with a monster that's on the field. And I think on activation, you're saying, hey, I'm using this one. And he wanted to do it with the Alice, but then it was popped by Daniel with his Runick quick play spell. And therefore, the effect of Returnia is not going to resolve.
So, and that must have been Flashing Fire.
Yes, indeed, it was Flashing Fire.
So unfortunately, Carpe Diem doesn't say that you are protected by spell cards as well.
Yep. which is really unfortunate in this meta game because there are so much.
There are
Runick.
quite the good spell cards at the moment.
Indeed.
Gotta be honest.
Oh,
And Ash
but
Blossom
there's
on
the Ash
Gigantic
Blossom
Sprite,
on
and this can
Gigantic.
hurt as well. We have seen many cards being played already. There will not be a battle phase, so this Martha might stick around for longer here.
Especially when you see that head nodding of Daniel. Oh, but there is
a
Spright starter, so he has
Do
a
we
way
have
to
another
play.
Ash? No, I'm just kidding, obviously.
Only once per turn, and therefore there is still Spright Blue coming. So actually that's just what Gigantic Spright intended to do in the copy of Spright Starter right there.
Yeah,
it
so
didn't even matter.
Spright du Bleu, as it's called in French. I really love the name, so I just wanted to mention it once. Can now special summon or search out red or carrot even and set up another negation for an effect. He just has to decide whether it's going to be a monster or a spell trap card effect.
Yeah.
Because Jet was already used.
And that shows us a little bit that the Exosister deck can really struggle if you're not getting into your Exceed part. He wasn't able to XYZ summon on his first turn because he was like, yeah, the searching is not going to do anything for me, so why would I? And then now on the opponent's turn, that Returnia was answered by Flashing Fire, and therefore no Exceed summons happen at all. And the Exosister deck is all about XYZ summoning, and therefore it's tough right
However, Daniel has to be careful here. He can't just play his usual combos, because then he would go into Elf and reborn a monster from the GY, which would enable Martha to immediately Exceed summon on the opponent's turn with the one material being Martha.
Yeah, for sure. He cannot allow himself that mistake. So he's, again, double-checking on
Let's double-check that as well.
Exosister.
I'm going to get it up for you guys.
Yeah, but it's really an uncommon
Carpe
card.
Diem.
Yeah. Really uncommon. He's running over the
Maru.
Martha. Oh, no, he's not running over it.
To banish the Martha? No, he activated Flashing Fire. So
true, there's no battle phase, actually.
Battle phase. And now he can go into Elf and reborn a monster. Was this worth it, going into the Onibimaru just to reborn something with Elf? This is what I'm asking myself right now.
I would say yes, because you really want to get rid of that monster, honestly. Because if he just normal summons another Exosister monster next turn, he instantly can go into an XC summon. So I think it was worth getting rid of that Martha there.
And setting 2 cards. So this actually might be a turn for Joshua in which Daniel does not even have to activate a Runick spell, which would enable him to have a battle phase the turn after that.
That's definitely likely. But first, it's the chance for Joshua. Does he have another Exosister Martha maybe? That would be a good card to have here, but he still has a negate with the Spright Red on the other hand though.
Yeah, Spright Red is quite strong here. However, Elf wasn't used yet, so it would be less strong. You know, if you have to tribute Elf before using it for the red, then it kind of hurts. It hurts your grind game.
Exosister Pax is being activated for the cost of 800 life points. You can just add 1 Exosister card from your deck to your hand.
And that is really good for Daniel, because now he can activate Elf, summon out a blue, search some follow-up for the next turn, and then actually activate red on the Martha activation. So hard draw Martha would have been a lot better.
The thing is, Exosister Pax is actually a quick play spell, so you could have done that in draw phase to prevent the Spright Elf from happening.
Fair enough.
So that maybe was a little bit of a misstep of Joshua. On the other hand, Joshua, let me check, maybe he's main decking stuff such as Triple Tactic Talons, and he wanted his opponent to activate a monster effect in the main phase. But no, I cannot find any Triple Tactic Talons in his list, and therefore maybe that was a little bit of a misstep right here.
I think it's interesting that he's playing cards like Carpe Diem that are not really usual for the decks even, and still maining evenly matched, because this makes evenly a lot worse in the grind game, gotta be honest there.
That is true, that is true. Also, one card that is not 100% standard in this deck is Sorrow, the Magisters of Flame. So actually it's not just an Exosister deck, it even has a small Magisters engine. And yeah, that's the Sorrow main deck monster, and that's paired with the Artemis in the extra deck, which then in combination with the Sorrow gets you the search for another Sorrow in the end. So you will have multiple level 4 monsters on the board with that Sorrow, and therefore you actually get to your extra deck Exosister monsters.
So
specifically,
Joshua packs it up. He says, I don't want to waste any further time, and this is why we are going into Game 2 with Daniel leading 1-0.
Absolutely. We have Daniel Cotter, even though he won second, winning that game number 1. And now in the side decking process, we got to talk about one card out of Joshua Ostman's side deck, and that is Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. I think this is a great card in the current format, but when your opponent, or when opponents in general, play decks with so many different engines as this deck. He's actually playing 3 different engines in his main deck, which all have extra deck monsters, actually. Then you will struggle to actually resolve that so successfully. And therefore, it may not be a super good card in this particular matchup. And also, probably going first, it's not the greatest side in any ways.
I find it interesting. Usually people would side Spright Elf with cherries versus Spright versions.
True.
But he thought, okay, I am okay with Elf. Elf reborns cards from the GY, so I can go for immediate Exceed summons on my 1 monsters. And I'm just going to take out Gigantic Spright, which is a card that is not too important anymore. I gotta be honest, I think the deck can happily play without it.
Yeah. And also in general, he did not even focus that much on the cherries aspect. He's only running that Gigantic Spright. He's also running the Kid Carlos, but he doesn't target any other matchups. Maybe the mirror match, because there are a lot of Exosisters monsters in his extra deck, but besides that, nothing really, to be honest.
He is also running the triple Solemn Judgment for going first, so I am thinking that this is very likely to go in. Also, the triple Cosmic Cyclone is a good back row card versus the Runick strategy.
Do you maybe think, though, that he's going second? Because going first, as we just saw, did not work out that greatly for him right there.
Yeah, but he was stopped by Drone Block. But
yes.
This card also hurts when you're going second.
True.
You know, so you still want to take the chance that you might actually set up your board and win the game off of that, and not lose to a completely built board by Spright with so many resources. You really want to have those monsters on the field before your opponent summons monsters from the GY.
True. And then there's the side deck of Daniel, of course, to also talk about. And Daniel is actually playing triple Cosmic Cyclone, which is, again, versus this deck, pretty decent, because there's not going to be that much back row, and therefore you could just really easily trade 1 back row with that Cosmic Cyclone, and that could work out in the end. And you're actually forcing the interruption of a Returnia, for example, out immediately, which is pretty cool. And therefore this could definitely come in. And also we see Nibiru, and funnily enough, even though it doesn't look like it, there are 5 summons happening quite regularly, quite often in the Exorcist deck.
If they end on Magnifica, then it really hurts. So I think that the players are ready for game 2, so why don't we waste no further time and go right ahead and watch it.
So here we are for game number 2 of this top 8 matchup, Daniel and Joshua, and it's probably going to be Joshua starting things off. We saw him having Solemn Judgment in his side deck, so I think that's probably the correct call. Did you see that eye movement of Joshua? He was like having big eyes, and that's always an indicator of being a little bit skeptical of his own hand, but he has Dimension Shifter to start things off, which is decent.
Is a decent start. I think that his deck is more prepared versus Tear Elements. He might have beaten many of them in this tournament,
and
because Shifter is not that strong versus this variant, especially not versus the life turn part.
Yep, and we are not starting off with Martha this time, and I think he was really eyeballing his hand there, because he drew multiple cards that he's only running 1 copy of. I think this is Exosister Irene there, that looks like Irene.
Absolutely.
And also, of course, the one-off permanent continuous Carpe Diem spell. So 2 one-offs he had there, and also that Dimension Shifter. And Daniel is really not sure what to think about that.
And he just passed with no spell trap card set, because this monster only has 400 attack points.
This is interesting.
And now we are immediately starting with, I think it is Kisikil.
No, Life Twin Lila it is. Life Twin Lila, of course, already activated the effect. There's Kisikil on the field now as well. And there's the cherries we were talking about. Now he has 2 monsters on field, which is 1 more than he has. And so he can actually take out the Gigantic Spright. But as we said, Daniel can now just freely go into his Life Twin package.
Yeah, absolutely. This Life Twin package does not work too good against Shifter, to be honest. He can just go into a different Exceeds monster at this point.
Right. True, that's a fair
running
point.
Zeus?
I mean,
it actually stops him quite a bit, to be honest.
There's no Zeus even in his extra deck.
But Lila is bigger than the Exosister on the field right now, than Irene.
That's interesting. How big is he running?
400 attack points,
only.
and Lila is at 500, so he could actually just attack over it.
But what do you think was the reasoning of even summoning this? There must be a reason, because he even has the cherries in hand, and I mean, cherries is even better when you have 0 monsters on the field, so why would you even commit into 1 monster? So there must be a reasoning why this card is on the field there.
Let me just check Carpe Diem again.
Yeah, it must be with the combination of Carpe Diem, sure. I think Carpe Diem actually allows you as well to maybe perform an XYZ summon onto the arena if something specifically happens, doesn't it? Oh, it doesn't. Interesting, then.
When an attack is declared involving your Exosister monster, you can target 1 spell trap card your opponent controls, destroy it.
Ooh!
This makes sense.
So that's the reason, then. That is the reason, indeed.
Sunny Snitch is getting activated. I mean, actually, the shifter is really good here.
Yeah, it actually... I was so hyped about the fact that he could just freely go into his Evil Twin extra deck package, but as you said, he's like not really able to use it that well because there will be no monsters in the graveyard to reborn with it. And therefore Daniel really has to think it out here.
But if we count it, on Joshua's side of the field, there are 4 cards on the play field right now. Okay, so 1 is banished, 1 is in the GY, 1 is in the monster zone, and 1 is in the spell trap zone, and there's just 1 more card in hand that he has to play with.
True. That's just... you're starting with 5 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And this deck did not manage here in this game 2 of top 8 to accumulate any cards in his opening turn, and therefore he's still left with the 5 cards he opened with. And we are going for the XYZ summon of Onibimaru, the Soul Sweeper.
And this one is just there to be a big monster with 1,900
it's
attack
bigger
points.
than the monster we had so far.
Okay, so Carpe Diem wasn't even activated to destroy the Sunny Snitch.
Yeah, interestingly enough. But burn damage of Sunny Snitch can add up, so you definitely want to take care of it.
So no Zeus in the extra deck of Daniel, which makes sense.
Oh, but there's Runick Tip now!
Oh, so this
He has access to the Runick engine, and specifically to Runick Tip, which is any other Runick card you could imagine. This is huge for Daniel right there.
Yes, but you can't really go into big fountain plays right now because the spell cards after being activated will be banished.
There is his Solemn Judgment, so I think Joshua is happy that it was banished because that wouldn't have been the top deck he was looking for. So we are just searching once again for, I think that was Flashing Fire. Yeah, he just searched for Flashing Fire. Sets a back row, sets another back row, even sets a 3rd back row and passes it back over to Joshua.
So now, what did Joshua draw? This is game deciding right here. He is so far behind in this game.
Oh,
he draws the Martha from the top. Is this the way for him back into this game? He is trying to win this YCS. Is this Martha enough to get him to top 4?
I mean, it was the best top deck you could imagine. Starlight Rare Exosistem Martha from the top. How much is coming out of this, though? We are special summoning itself and also Elis once again. Daniel double checking on Exosister Elis, but this is great. At least we see a comeback of Joshua. I was afraid he was just drawing his card and then maybe giving the fist pump, but no, he's still in this for sure.
Now we are reading Sunny Snitch again, a card that could have been dealt with already.
That's actually true. But now the protection effect of Carpe Diem again is a little bit better because monster effects cannot target like Martha
no,
or
monsters
Alice
from
right
the
now.
GY.
Oh, only from the GY.
Also, there are no monsters that target anything. I think it's more about the spells in this matchup. Gotta be honest there.
I thought maybe it's about an effect beta that could potentially be in the hand of Daniel, but no.
I think it's about the Lila Link, right?
Oh, and you saw that. He was actually milling almost the full Magistus package that Joshua's playing. 2 of the 3 Magistus of Flame Sorora he's playing. And there's another Sophia, so he has another monster to extend. So maybe we are going to finally see the first XYZ summon of this Exosister deck here in top 8.
Are we going to, though? He is reading Carpe Diem again, and I think... Okay, no, I don't think anything. I don't know what he has in his back row right now. So we just have to wait and see. There can't be a Smashers because there's no Spright or Springens card in the GY for Daniel. So he might just have to let this happen. Oh, I think this was an impermanence.
Oh, it's Cosmic Cyclone.
Carpe Diem. Okay. Oh, Carpe Diem actually activates when you exceed summon.
That's true. He would have finally been able to use the good effect of Carpe Diem, which so far has not shown off. But he was taking care of that before with activating the Cosmic Cyclone.
Oh, and
there it is! first XYZ summon of our Exosister player, Joshua, here in top 8. And I think it's Michaelis. Looked like Michaelis.
It looks like Michaelis. And
Exosister Michaelis, hopefully being the sign of comeback here for Joshua.
yeah, and this one can quick effect banish a card from the field or from the GY. And when it's summoned, I think you can add, you can discard, detach a material and add a Exosister spell trap from deck to the hand.
Which could be, for example, Exosister Pax, which would be any Exosister card again in your deck, which is quite cool.
So what happens if this back row card is an impermanence now? He might want to chain it to the search effect here. And then he could chain quick effect banish the Onibimaru and attack over the Lila.
And then at the end of the day, Daniel does not even have that many resources.
No.
And
Not at all.
as you
It is
saw already,
impermanence.
it is the impermanence. And
Wow,
instantly...
this Martha top deck was massive.
Indeed it was. There is the only Bimaru being banished. And let's not forget, the Martha is also coming back in end phase, so there would be another monster for Joshua then in the end. And there's no monsters left on the field for Daniel.
Also with this attack, he is probably able to summon Zeus if he's not restricted.
Is he restricted though? I think Exosister Martha might be the one restricting you into Exosisters. Let's double check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he cannot go into Zeus. That would have been the icing on the cake, but it might already be enough here for Joshua. What a top deck with the Exosister Martha. Maybe his ticket into Game 3 here in this top 8 match.
He still has one card that he can set. One card that might help him win this game. Because the Michaelis this turn does not do anything anymore.
Imagine
Daniel's
being this like
opponent's turn.
Returnia or something. That would be so huge. But there's
it's
Runick tip for Daniel. That is also fantastic as a top deck.
There are not any battle phases happening anytime soon for Daniel. Not gonna lie, he is using those Runick cards every time. And now we will see if he is summoning a fusion monster. I think he already grabbed his deck, so he's probably just going to search out a Flashing Fire or the Destruction to get rid of the back row.
Yeah, Destruction seems reasonable too, but it all depends on what the other cards in his hand are, right? Oh yeah, the Search is a little bit out of the picture. We couldn't really tell what it was.
So, Daniel, let us see what your options are. I'm actually quite impressed by this Martha, because it single-handedly, basically, outed the entire board of Daniel, which was arguably not too impressive.
Still, like, did you see that coming, honestly?
Yeah, no.
Like, he had one card in hand, and then the Martha came to help, and Martha really, really snowballed into everything he needed to overcome the board. But there is still a live twin monster on the field for Daniel now. He has a monster, and there's also the Destruction now, right? I think he pointed towards the back row. Oh, no, we're just special summoning.
Yeah, okay. Summoning the Hugin.
So it's, it's Flashing Fire. Sorry, it's Flashing Fire just to special summon.
Still has no Gigantic Spright this game, right?
Yeah, that was a game we cherried. So therefore, there's no Gigantic Spright in the extra deck. But there, of course, is Evil Twin Lila. Evil Twin Lila being summoned, using the effect to reborn the Frost, I think. Or is it? Yeah, no, it was Lila as well.
So we are going for the pop on the set card, probably.
No, he wants to pop the Michaelis, which successfully resolves. And Joshua, as he said, he could have cards such as Evenly Matched. Oh no, we are in game 2, so probably the Evenly Matched is not in there anymore. So this might just be still enough for Daniel. Looked so promising for Joshua with that Martha comeback, but Daniel is striking back once more, showcasing to us once again how good the Runick engine is in handling very, very different game states. It's so versatile, it can help you in so many different situations.
So Daniel is also running a really small Evil Twin package, because he could also run a Trouble Sunny. However, he's going to go into another Lila to summon Kizikil to summon back the Lila on the next turn and have another pop.
Yep, and it's back over to Joshua. And can we top deck Exorcist and Martha once more is the question. That would be insanity.
Oh, Pot of
There
Prosperity.
is Pot of Prosperity, so that might
card.
as well be a Exorcist and Martha. I think he's going for 6, right? He just wants to see 6 cards here to turn this one around once more.
He really doesn't care about this extra deck most of the time. He just wants to keep his Exosister monsters. Those are the most important ones. Those are the cards that remove something from the opponent's side of the field.
Okay.
Now we are
What are we
for
getting?
Pax or Martha.
That's
This is
Pax.
Pax.
First
Pax
card
is
Pax.
a Martha already. Returnia, not another Pax, another Martha, and Vadis.
Only Exosister cards being revealed, actually. Not a single non-engine card, and looks like he wants to go with the packs. He already touched it a little bit with his fingernail, but maybe he's also just instantly going for Martha, because honestly, Martha lets you have 800 life points more, because packs would cost 800 life points, and I would think you want to get to Martha, right?
I thought so too.
But
maybe Joshua doesn't want to have that much engine in his deck anymore because he's slowly but surely running out of Marthas. So what you want to have is more non-engine cards in your deck that can stop your opponent from doing anything.
potentially that, yeah. But I mean, it was a cool thing that all the Exorcister cards are now at the bottom of the deck. Oh, he has Martha in hand as well. He didn't resolve the packs yet, right? So he had multiple Marthas last turn.
So Martha is summoned, and this is really good because there's only one pop on the side of Daniel.
Actually, I think Joshua must have started with Exorcister Martha, but he didn't want to commit into it because he had cherries left in hand.
Also, he probably should have activated the effect from Kisikil to summon back Lila on the reveal of Martha.
Ooh, because now there's an Exorcister monster on the field, which actually works pretty well against monsters that are summoning from the graveyard.
So if the Kisikil activates to get the pop, both of these monsters can go, or at least one of these monsters can go into a rank 4 by using themselves as a material in a quick effect.
Indeed, yep.
Let's get Martha back up.
And there we have now another Exorcister monster. I think for the first time ever in this match, actually Joshua is summoning multiple Exorcister monsters. He's actually really getting into this again. And you could tell by the face of Daniel. Daniel is not happy with how things are developing here. Looked bright for him, but it's turning a little bit more into the direction of Joshua.
Another Michaelis that can just react with the quick effect to banish a monster off the field. Daniel is packing it up. The top deck Martha, if it even was a top deck, won him this game too. He came back from an empty board, basically no hand, and a rather impressive field on the opponent's side.
What was that? I was sure this game is going to be over pretty quickly, and I was like, sadly, 4 Exorcists that will be done so quickly, but then Joshua just come back into it. That ticket into game 3 that I was calling it earlier, and now he has it. He will have the chance to really get into top 4 by boxing it out here in game number 3.
I'm really sure that Daniel did not expect this either.
No.
So he's maybe going to be a little bit tilted.
Yeah.
He has to not let this get into his head, honestly.
It's also a question of mindset, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Specifically now, you're sitting in top 8 of a YCS here in Utrecht, and you are on the featured match, so this can really get onto your nerves, for sure. So you shouldn't really at home judge people for making maybe a little bit of a misplay once in a while. The nerves are really getting to you in that kind of a situation, even though you're a top-class player.
So let's hope there is no cards played in Imperm columns here.
Oh no, please no, please no.
This happened way too many times already.
We have a different situation. Joshua will be the one going second, so he can actually rely on the cards. He can side in for a going second scenario. And we see he's siding in one more Dark Ruler no more and one evenly matched, because he's already main decking 2 of them, and therefore he will be most likely probably on 3 copies each here for this game number 3. And also, a hand interaction that was not really that popular this event, I would say. It is the same.
You're gonna get there.
Please help me out.
Gear Gamma.
This. And yeah, what do you think about that in the current format?
I think it's okay. I like it on Hugin.
Yeah.
When your opponent starts to discard a card and tries to get to Fountain.
Yeah.
I mean, you're immediately going +1 with it.
Indeed. And we were thinking about why Moonlit Chill is being played so much in the current metagame.
And even over Vela.
Yeah, we found ourselves an answer, which was good. It is because of Hagen and also because of Brendan and High Spirits. Because both of those happen in the draw phase, and therefore Veiler is definitely a lot worse than Moonlit Chill. But Gamma is even better than Moonlit Chill, right? So I would say Gamma is actually quite a good card in this matchup.
Gamma seems to be really good. Also, it does not lose to, or it's at least not that bad against decks like Fluwanderies, of which we had many of in the top 64.
Oh yeah, and I think we Do we even still have one? I think we might have eliminated
I
all of the
think they
Thunderies
all
players.
got kicked out in top 16 then, finally.
Pretty close games. We were actually, as we told you, standing by the top 16 tables, and Jack Verma had a really close game versus the Italian national champion, but Jack Verma in the end managed to overcome him to get into this top 8 we are currently having. And yeah, therefore I think we do not have Thunderies anymore, but we still have Exosisters, and I think our Exosister player Joshua, as well as our live twin, Evo twin, Spright, Runick player, is ready, with it being Daniel for this game number 3. Top 8, game number 3. Get the action going, guys, please.
And we are back immediately with the start of game 3. There is a fist bump, respect, sportsmanship. Okay, so let's draw our first 5. Daniel has drawn his. Joshua, of course, has drawn his. What an introduction.
Surprisingly, really, I love that. I love that. And yeah, it will be on Daniel. And I think I saw quite a few spell cards in his opening hand, which would be an indicator for quite a bit of Runick stuff happening. And he has the best of the Runick quick play spells, and he's instantly using Runick Tip to search out a spell right from his deck, and that looks like Runick Fountain, and he hits the Marfa. And Daniel is like, okay, now I cannot get triple Marfa this game anymore, which is great. Now triple Marfa is not a threat this game, and there's the Spright starter. I watched a couple of Runick Spright matches, and from time to time, this deck struggles with not getting access to the Spright part of the deck. You're just sitting there with a lot of Runick cards, and to be fair, those are great, but if you're not adding the Spright part of the deck, it's not happening that much on the field.
Oh, there's an impermanence on the Spright starter. And I was going to say, you're opening up yourself to being hit harder by hand traps when you're combining more and more engines. Because if you are playing the Hyperia version with the capsules, then...
Oh, but there's still Spright Blue in his hand.
However,
and there's the Gamma we were talking about!
Gamma is coming in. Gamma is coming in clutch. Blue can't search out the red or the carrot. And Blue will be taken off the field. Can Daniel even do anything else after this?
This
Probably.
might just be a scenario of Daniel ending on the single level 2 monster. And luckily, Daniel did not hit the driver with the Runick Tip. He banished the Marfa, and I think Joshua was pretty happy about not losing the driver.
He will not pass here. He has another card that he searched off of Tip.
There is the Runick Fountain. I think he searched for a Runick Fountain, so he would need another, but he does have another one. That is actually helping him here, that Joshua has a monster on board now. And oh no, but he's actually just summoning out.
Yeah, he is summoning out a level 2 monster in Hogan that does not even need to search anything. He can just put the 2 quick spells from his GY under his deck, and now he has access to Gigantic Spright, and he can draw 2 more cards, which is absolutely massive. This is why you play the Runick engine.
Joshua just used 2 of his cards, being Impermanence and Gamma, and Daniel, through the Runick Fountain, just casually draws 2 more. So the card advantage here already very, very much going into direction of Daniel.
And guys, we know that Exosister has a harder time than Runick or Sprites to gain advantage from single cards.
This is indeed true.
Gigantic
I mean, we saw a contrarian example of having 1 Marfa, and that was pretty good. But I would also say it could be very, very hard to overcome this. Joshua hoped that Impermanence plus Gamma would be enough.
Hyperia.
He's also playing Hyperia, indeed, yep.
Only as a one-off. So he decided to play it over Cap Shell. I thought if you're only playing one of those, then you would go for the Cap Shell.
But nope, it is the Hyperia. And Daniel immediately on the summon of Hyperia gets another draw. And there's the Sunny Snitch now as well, so he will have access to the Live Twin, Evil Twin package here as well in game number 3. All 3 engines of the deck coming into place, getting to work. Normal summon now as well of the Live Twin Leela and the special summon of Live Twin Quizzical Frost out of the hand.
So he is probably going to go into... No, not quite yet. He is considering going into the Spright Elf with Leela and Gigantic Spright. So, kind of a big board already.
Yep, I definitely think that's a pretty impressive board that Daniel is building there. One that I didn't see coming after the 2 interactions that Joshua already had, but
Summoning
still Daniel
Kizikil.
went on and wasn't really impressed by it.
Absolutely not. So he is going to use Kizikil to summon back the Lila, and he will go into another Lila. The Evil Twin Lila, and this one is summoning back the Kizikil, and now he can link those 2 away for another Kizikil. But he can draw one first.
That's what he's doing. And I mean, he drew, I think, 4 cards in here already, right?
Yeah.
So this is absolutely massive.
2 from Fountain, 1 from Hyperia, and 1 from
That's
Kizikil.
almost a completely new starting hand. You're
Absolutely,
starting with
yeah.
5 cards, and he just managed to draw 4 in the whole turn. So he just refreshed his hand insanely well.
Even more impressive when you think about that his opponent used Impermanence and Gamma, so he got rid of 2 cards from his own hand. So he's going to start with 4, and those are the 4 cards that he just casually drew.
Yep, and now Daniel is continuing to link summon. And he's going for another Evil Twin Kizikil. He's playing double Evil Twin Kizikil and 1 Evil Twin Lila. That's why he always has the option to go into another Kizikil after using the Reborn effect of the Lila on the other Kizikil. And I think that might be it. Oh no, okay.
He can also still use Elf. And he is summoning a blue just to have it.
Just to have it, but he has
special
Jet
summons
in hand
another
as
Jet.
well.
He did not use that before, so we can actually go into Djinn Buster, which is another interaction. So if there is a Martha revealed in hand, it's not going to come out.
Indeed, that's a lot to overcome there for Joshua. How many cards are going to be in the back row on top of all of that? 1 card has already found its way into the back row, and looks like that's it. Yep, I think we're going into the end phase. As soon as we see the driver and the Gamma being banished, it will be time for end phase, I would think.
So let's just wait until they proceed
Yes.
to banish the Gamma and driver, exactly as you just said, drawing the 4th card in the hand for Joshua, and we are again at a really important point in the game. This was such an impressive first turn board.
But
he will miss a battle phase, so there are actually 2 turns for Joshua now.
And speaking of battle phase, what do you think of an evenly matched maybe here? That would be a card that could turn around things insanely right
Quickly,
here.
Yeah.
Oh no, it will
this
be a
looks
monster.
like a
It will be a monster.
And he is summoning the Sophia.
We are not having the evenly matched, and therefore we have to go for Exosisters Sophia there. Wait, this is not Sophia, by the way.
This is Stella.
This is absolutely
My
Stella,
bad.
yeah.
I keep on confusing them.
Exosister Stella.
It is kind of good to normal summon one of those before you actually reveal Martha or anything, just so your opponent can never at any point summon a monster from the GY with Elf or Kizikil.
Yeah. We lost Daniela Stella in top 16 of the tournament, but Exosister Stella still with us here in top 8 of the tournament. And Joshua is normal summoning it here to start things off. And he will also be using the effect. You can special summon 1 Exosister monster from your hand.
And this one gets Impermanence
Ooh.
already. I mean, sure, what else are you going to use it on?
Yeah, if he starts off like that, it's unlikely that he even has Martha, and therefore I think it's pretty reasonable to use the Impermanence on this.
He is going for the Elf to summon back Hyperia, drawing yet another card, which could be a quick play spell card from the Runick archetype that could be activated due to the Runick Fountain being on the field.
Yes, that is true. And now Daniel is going through his graveyard. I think he's not going to interact with his graveyard immediately, because you don't need to pop this. There's still the possibility to reborn the Evil Twin Kizikil? No, the Lila one. The Evil Twin Lila, that's still in the graveyard, which would be a pop then in the end. But you don't need to pop that Stella. Why would you?
No, this Stella is less than threatening.
And what's coming next for Joshua? Joshua really has to pick it up here this turn, I think. He's not going to have that many more turns if he doesn't get to win it here. Was there a Runick card being activated in the opening turn of Daniel? Yes,
absolutely.
Right? Okay,
multiple
so there
copies.
will be no battle phase the next turn at least. But I think we are already in the battle phase of this turn now.
So he is crashing with Stella. This could actually still be an evenly matched.
That would be huge. And Daniel once again shaking his head. Wait, he's running into it, so as you say, this could still be evenly matched. I mean,
But
it has to be, right?
do you even go for it? Because he could actually just wait for another turn. His opponent will not get a battle phase next turn.
Yeah, you could, Raid, you're right. But we are still in the battle phase. Is that evenly matched that we were anticipating so much going to happen here in game number 3? Are we going to see comeback Joshua once more? He came back in truly insane fashion in game number 2, but is it going to happen once more here in game number 3?
And there's Exosister Martha revealed, and I can't think of any situation where you don't Jin Buster. Yeah, exactly. You Jin Buster for 500 damage as well, negating the effect. Martha cannot be revealed once again this turn, and this is looking bad for Joshua at the moment.
Yep, so he cannot activate another Martha in his hand because obviously it is once per turn. And if he would have had one of those strong board wipe cards, he would have already used Batman. That one set card is even going to get popped here, right? Because we are going to reborn the Evil Twin Lila, popping the set card. So that Exosister Varus is not going to be there in the next turn anymore. And it's back to Daniel, who does not have a battle phase, but still plenty of options to do stuff here.
The question is, does he really want to do that much? I mean, he can just generate more resources. You can resummon a Spright Blue or something, search something for the next turn that you can maybe OTK your opponent when you have a battle phase again, but he's probably not wanting to commit that much more to the field eventually.
Probably not. And I mean, you now know what's coming because you do know that there's still that Exorcist and Martha in the hand of Joshua. So you definitely will have to have an answer for that, that's for sure. Because
I mean, Jin Buster is already used, so you can't. There's no way to recycle it.
Yeah,
right?
so maybe Spright Blue should search for Spright Red here, and then he gets some stuff away from his field to summon out the Red as well, and then Red would be an answer to the Exorcist Martha. And I could see that happening very, very much here. That
you also want to get
Red?
rid of the Evil Twin Lila, so you can resummon it on your opponent's turn again with the Kizikil, or we are going to get rid of the Kizikil first.
We're going
so
for a Link 4. Or is it a Link 3?
This
Unchained Abomination!
Abomination did not see that one coming.
We haven't seen this one in a while.
Where
That's
did he find the
monster.
space for this?
I have no clue, my friend. That could have very well been the Zeus as well we were talking about earlier. But he decided for Unchained Abomination instead. And he now has space again to summon out the Spright Red, maybe. I think he searched for Spright Red, right? Must have been Spright Red.
I mean, this card just makes sense, right? Because you're lacking battle phases, so you want to have cards on the field that can destroy monsters.
Yeah, indeed. And yep, there is a Spright Red. It was already almost on the field, but Daniel decided to do something else before. And I think in this particular situation, the Unchained Abomination was just there to make space, right? You just want to have space for other normal level 2 monsters to summon out, such as Spright Red.
And you also want to have the extra draw from Kizikil being summoned back by Lila and then getting...
And now comes Nightmare Cerberus. He's just summoning monsters to get space. There's Spright Red. Does he also have Spright Carrot? No, for a second it looked like he wanted to summon another monster. But as you said, he wants to have a free zone for the reborn of Evil Twin Lila, of course.
Carrot would be kind of important at this point to dodge a possible evenly matched. However, we don't know if Joshua even has it. He could have top decked it. And this is Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Extravagance can actually dig out the evenly if he hits it.
Prosperity. I think for a second you said Extravagance, but it is Prosperity. Of course, you guys at home know what this is. This card has been in a lot of different meta decks over the course of the time. Also in a lot of rogue decks, because this just gives you one of the top 6 cards of your deck. Sometimes only one of the top 3 cards, but it's definitely a great card, which has seen a bunch of play.
So we are seeing Iperia being summoned. Oh, there is immediately
evenly matched
the first card being picked up by Daniel. Also, Dark Ruler does not look too bad, but he does not care about it. He wanted the evenly matched.
Turning it around
he gets
once
the
more.
Evenly matched.
There are so many cards on the side of the field of Daniel, but they may be all gone in a moment. There was one card being added to the hand of Joshua being evenly matched. Therefore, the Frost in Graveyard can activate to draw another card for Daniel. But now he knows that there's evenly matched happening soon. This is crazy. And also, the life points are so close right now with only 2 minutes left on the clock. So Joshua, even though evenly matched is great, has to do damage at some point. because he's 400 life points behind, and he may even not activate the evenly matched. This will be interesting to see.
Do you think he maybe has Gaga Cowboy in his deck? Also, by the way, what do you even leave on the field here? Do you keep the Runick Fountain as the only card? Because
probably, right?
then you can still activate all of your hand interactions in forms of spells.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how many Runick spells you have in the hand.
But
we're going to be
dropped. What are we seeing here?
We're going to know in a couple of seconds. Daniel has to take his time, has to decide. He's not really loving the monsters. He takes all of the monsters, so Runick Fountain stays on the field. Only a little over a minute left for Joshua. I can tell you, he is playing the Gaga Cowboy in his extra deck, so that could be an option.
The Exosister Martha. This is taking a dark turn for Daniel all of a sudden.
And Exosister Martha is resolving, special summoning itself, and also another monster from the extra deck. And I think that guess you took there with Gaga Cowboy is a pretty decent one. Gaga Cowboy might just be the way here to get ahead on life points. This could once more be Joshua comeback Ostman.
But there is no way that in those 25 cards in hand of Daniel's, there is not a Flashing Fire or a Freezing Curse for the
You're right again. There must be another interruption on Gaga Cowboy or something. And time is really running low, so it will be coming down to Gaga Cowboy being the winner for him or not, but there already is one interruption from Daniel.
And it is the Runick Flashing Fire destroying a special summoned monster on the field. Martha is gone. Martha is looking really sad in this GY, and it's just the Alice now.
Yeah, but if Joshua finds a way to normal summon another level 4, he could still find his way into the Gaga Cowboy. And I mean, this is going to be the last turn of this top 8 match, because time is just running down right now. Last second left was gone, and we see the T on the table.
Time marker.
Therefore, it is timeout right here.
So they are comparing life points. There was Sunny Snitch on the field. So this, okay, so time, okay.
Yeah, it is definitely timeout. And is the last card in the hand of Joshua a monster, or is it not? They are having a little bit of a small talk there.
So
but Joshua,
both of the players are not looking too happy in this situation right now.
Joshua, what is the last card you have there? It's going to come down to that.
Joshua is still hesitating. He does not seem to have given up this just yet. So, can he pull off this?
And it is a moment. It is a monster. We have 2 level 4 monsters. Is it going to be Gaga Cowboy for game here?
He has not normal summoned this turn just yet.
Oh, but on the other hand, he activated Pot of Prosperity, so it would only be 400 life points damage, and they would have the same amount of life points if that happens.
Also, he is locked into Exosisters.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I totally forgot about that. You're right.
I totally forgot about that as well.
True, that Gaga Cowboy is not going to be a thing here this turn. But that would have also been a crazy situation. Imagine Gaga Cowboy for only 400 damage. That would have been insane. But as you say, he has to find a way to deal damage without using that Gaga Cowboy there. And I think that will be quite hard, because if I look through his extra deck, if I look through all the cards he has there, I don't think any of the Exosister cards is going to do it for him.
Another Michaelis for him. And this card, despite it being really strong, it's not gaining or reducing life points of anyone without a battle phase.
That's true, yep. So look at Daniel's face. Daniel doesn't know what's going on. He's like, is there an Exosister extra deck monster which can burn life points?
I don't know any of these cards.
Yeah, what's happening here?
He's activating Pax. Pax is paying 800 more life points.
And there is the handshake.
Daniel wins this game, and he advances to the top 4, to the semi-finals of YCS Utrecht 2022.
What a game we had there on our hands. It was really going back and forth. In game 2, we were already thinking it's going to be Daniel in the semis, but then Joshua had such an insane comeback, and then we played it out until the last second of the time, and we couldn't find another comeback of Joshua, and therefore
this was truly evenly matched.
Daniel Cotter is the first competitor of top 4 here at YCS Utrecht, and I love it. The mixture of Live Twin, Runick, Spright seems pretty decent. He couldn't decide on any of the 3 engines. He couldn't decide on 2 of them. So he just went with all 3. And I definitely think it works, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these cards put in the work. Without the Sunny Snitch, I think Was there a lot of burn with the Sunny Snitch in Game 3?
Not really.
I
no.
don't think so. I think he just normal summoned the monster and crashed.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. There was no special summoning while the Sunny Snitch was still on the field. And honestly, what do you think about the situation that Exosister is in right now in the metagame? Because first of all, of course, huge congratulations to
Both
Joshua
of the
Ostman.
players.
I mean,
Yeah.
Daniel still has games to play, so let's
Yeah,
congratulate him after he's done. Maybe he's our new champion.
Congratulations to advancing to the semifinals.
True, that as well, for sure. But congratulations as well to Joshua
Yeah.
for coming so far with such a unique deck, with the Exosister deck, even featuring the Magistus engine.
Yeah,
so
that we haven't
therefore,
really seen much of. It was just banished by the Runick spells.
so therefore, definitely something very special and something noteworthy. And what do you think going forward? Is it going to be a good pick, especially looking out for the new sets that are going to release very soon?
Yeah, in the future, where Telement is probably going to be a lot more popular, I think
True.
Exosisters have a much better shot. This tournament, it was not represented that well. Of course,
Indeed,
Joshua
indeed.
Ostman was a perfect pilot for the deck, and he took it so far in a not Exosister-friendly metagame. I gotta be honest, because the Spright matchup is really hard for the deck.
Same, yeah. He must have faced a lot of Spright Runick players. And I mean, he faced another one white here, which was his final opponent. He couldn't overcome this one. But I'm also very surprised by the fact that he could overcome all of those Spright Runick players, because in direct comparison, the matchup between Exosister and that seems pretty unfavorable. On the other hand, we just saw him almost taking it down there.
And you have cards like Dimension Shifter, which helps. You have cards like Evenly Matched that break boards, if there are even any. If you activated Dimension Shifter before, the boards won't be too crazy. But yeah, the deck still does what it does best, summoning Martha and then going for a rank 4. This is what it's always done since it came out, and
So
it kind of works still.
We're not going to repeat the outcome of YCS Niagara Falls, so we're not going to have another Exosister winner, because I can already tell you that we are not having any other Exosister players left in the tournament. So that, I think, even was like the last real rogue deck we had there, right? And therefore, we could actually just... I think we have Spright Runick left, even a couple of them. I mean, we saw the Spright Runick live
We do
one.
have more Spright Runick to come. We also have the Scareclaw variant of Telements. I'm really excited about that. Let's see how this one turned out. But first of all, let's hear it from the winner of this game. And Ed, take it away.
Hi guys, yes, I'm here with the winner of the top 8 game, Daniel Cotter. A very exciting game. How does it feel to be now in the top 4?
It feels really good. I still can't believe it. Quite overwhelmed. Yeah, it feels great.
It was quite a serious battle towards the end there, but everyone was very uncertain what was going on. The commentators were going on saying that there might have been a Gaga Cowboy play, but then we realized that they were locked into Exosisters, so that wasn't likely to happen. So what were you thinking in those final moments? Were you worried something was going to happen, or were you pretty sure that you'd won it?
Actually, I wasn't really aware of the current time, so I wasn't really thinking about time. I was just worried about evenly matched, and I had no carrot. But I think I just got lucky in the end.
That evenly matched was an amazing moment. One of the best things about watching these duels is the fact that as the weekend goes on, more and more people are watching the game live in the seats. And when that evenly came out, the crowd went nuts, and it's really fun to hear. We'll just have a quick breakdown just quickly of the game, and then we'll let you get off to your top 4 slot. So obviously you took game 1. It was kind of you locked Joshua out of the XCs, summoning a bit of a slow back and forth. How was that first round for you? How were you feeling?
Yeah, I think the first round went really well. And honestly, I was very afraid of this matchup. Didn't test at all versus Exosister. But I felt like it was really going well, and there was nothing that stood out to me. I think I was just able to get control of the game.
That is how it felt. And then in game 2, obviously, Joshua top decking Martha and things against your back row. There were a lot of different moments, but you Carpe Divem'd with the Cosmic Cyclone. I think you also impermed the Michaelis. So there were lots of moments in the second game where it looked like you could have taken it, but it wasn't the way it was going to go. But how were you feeling during that moment when you had a couple of those moments of control, but then it fell off near the end? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, I think my Lifestone engine isn't that great if he has any Exosister monsters, and I can't really use Runick Fountain. So I was kind of stuck in just few basic plays, and I think it just wasn't enough in that game.
And then, as we're saying, in that third game, I mean, you were hitting the Martha right away when that came out, which was a great moment. I think there was the moment where you had your blue gammered, so that was a slightly unnerving thing. But then, it all built up. You built an enormous field with like Gin Buster and everything. You really dominated that round, pushed it into time, and you took it. So it was really, really great. Congratulations. I really hope that the next couple of rounds go well for you. A top 4 slot, very exciting. So don't go away, because we've got a little quiz coming up, and then we're going to be hopping into that top 4 feature match. We'll be right back.